Welcome back, AMS. It's me, Mr. B, and so today we're going to be building our first part of the roller coaster, which is the column. So the way we know this is that every part that I'm going to show you today, or every part that I'm going to show you in this video series, has the name up on top. So this is the column. You can actually see it right there. It says column. Okay, so make sure that you have the column part. Now, one rule I want you to remember about this project is that any line that is solid is for cutting, and any line that is broken is for folding. Okay, so solid is for cutting, and the broken lines are for folding. So let's go ahead and get started with this part. The main part is the column. So we're going to go ahead, and the first thing I want to do is score this part. And so the way we do that is we're going to get out our notebook. We're going to get out the part that we're going to use today. And then we're going to go ahead and take our ruler, and you're going to put it on the broken line. And then you're going to take your ballpoint pen, and with the ballpoint pen, you're just going to go over one time. Just go over the entire line just one time, going all the way down. Okay, and let me show you what that does. If I look on the back side, I can see that this scoring line is actually made a little indentation, and it's going to be a lot easier to fold now versus the ones that don't have any lines on there. So very important that you score all your parts first, and then you start cutting. So we're going to go ahead and score all the other ones as well. In the same way, we're going to put these down and score each one. And it's very important that you do this. Use your notebook because it is easier to use. It's easier to do, and that way you won't have any problems with the folding part. You're not going to have any parts that don't work because they were not scored. So we're almost done here. We're going to do both parts today because we're going to use both sides. So another thing I want you to remember is that these all come in full sheets. Some of them are going to come in parts so that you can use them. Okay, some of them, like this one, has 2 columns on it. Some of them will have a little bit more parts on them. Alright, so it looks like we're done with the scoring part. That's pretty easy to do. As you can see, I'll show you once again the back part. Now you can see that all the lines are scored, and you can tell they're red. They're going to be a lot easier to fold now. Okay, so let's do the cutting part. We're going to go ahead and cut around the entire frame. So you need to cut around the entire part for the roller coaster. We're just going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so now we have the entire frame cut, and you notice that there's actually 2 pieces. So in the middle there's a solid line. So we're going to cut that as well because we're going to be able to make 2 columns out of this one piece of construction paper. So we're going to go ahead and go right down the middle there. So what I want to do first is take my piece, and right where the scoring lines are, I'm going to start folding them. Okay, so we'll just kind of show you that. I'm going to start, it doesn't matter where you start, but as long as you start folding on the actual line. Okay, so you can see that there, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold all the rest of them. And it's a lot easier to fold, again, once you have those scoring lines. Okay, so at the end it should look like that. You should be able to fold it together, and it's going to make a square on that side. Okay, so now you're going to add a little bit of tape to each one. So we'll bring in our tape, and we're going to go ahead and just tape it at the end. So wherever you see this black line right here, you want to tape it on this side of the line. Okay, because we're going to be cutting those out in just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just get that tape in there. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to be there on that side. And then we're going to come over here. You want to measure it with your fingers well. You don't want to get too much because then you're going to have problems later on. So just make sure that it is just right on there. Okay, not too much, because too much will go in, and then too little will not make it work. So we're going to go again on the top of that, and then we're going to go in the middle, just like that. So now we made our first column. So how are we going to put this on our roller coaster? This is the very first piece. Well, the first thing we want to do is make sure that we are able to flare them out. And the way we do that is you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut just up to this black line right here. Okay, so I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut just to that black line, just like that, on each of the four corners. Okay, so you want to just again move up to that black line, and to the end of it should look just like that. You fold them up, okay, to the black line, and it should be okay. This piece has a double feature, so we can just actually push that back in just like that. Okay, and then we're going to flare out all the rest of them. All right, so it looks like that. This is the end of what it should look like. Okay, and then you have the other side. You're not doing nothing to that one yet, but we're going to do that. So now let's go ahead and put it on our cardboard. Okay, so I have my cardboard here, and what I want to do is I want to place it where it's going to go. I'll do it right here so we can actually see it. Okay, so this is the place where I want it to go. So I'm going to go ahead and just tape it down on all four of those pieces, just like that. And there we go. So we have our first piece that we made. This is our, oops, bring that up. This is our column. So we're ready to start our roller coaster. All right. So on the next video, I'm going to show you something called telescoping. This is how to make this part even longer, and so you can actually make it look like a real roller coaster. All right. I'll get you on the next one, AMS. Stay safe.